ipmNation.com.
I don't know what that means, but apparently, I don't know. Who knows? Rookie behind the wheel. Good evening. It's 7 o'clock Eastern Time, Sunday night, so you know it's time for Sneak Speak. I'm Brian, your friend here, with my good friend, Matt Connarton from ipmNation itself. It's like doing an interview for The Walking Dead, Matt, and you get like a star on The Walking Dead to come and sit on the couch, so it's always great to talk to you.
Yes. Wow, that's quite the introduction.
Yeah. Yeah. You know when they say, "Ooh, tonight." Yeah.
Oh, it's always great to talk to you, Brian.
Thank you, brother. Well, I'm in the middle of this thing we were talking about just before. I have some older kids. I have some little kids. And what happens is, these little kids, they all want to go to school. It's like a big thing, education. I just don't get it. But in any event, these little kids want to parade themselves off to school, it's not like pre-K. Well, I actually think there's a pre-K class. So you go to like 2 different classes before you even get to kindergarten. I don't even think they let me in kindergarten. But in any event, they send their kids off to this pre-K, right? All of them. And it's like a giant petri dish. So every possible flu and strep throat and swine whatever and whooping cough and West Nile, everything all blended into one. And then they come home and an old guy like me, my immune system isn't ready for this. So I took the chills. I don't know if you can see, but I have like a scarf. I got a hat with some earmuffs. I got a pair of, I won't tell you, but they're flannel boxers, right? I'm going full on trying to keep warm, all because all these parents, education's important. So they'll send their kids to school, and then these rugrats run around for 8 hours a day. Who knows what they whip up, right? Like Kifawit in Illinois. You want to talk about whipping up a broth. Who knows what these kids whip up, and then they bring it home to unsuspecting parents. At least old guys like me. You know what I mean? It's unbelievable.
Right.
My immune system isn't ready for this. That's all I'm saying.
Have you ever considered homeschooling? That's a big deal here in New Hampshire.
Yeah, I think about it sometime. I'd like to teach myself at home. I don't like people, so for the most part, I think homeschooling would be good for me. I'm told there's books and playthings and everything else. So, yeah, believe me, every time I go out in public, Ashley's like, "Oh, we got to homeschool that boy. There's no way he gets to." Right. It's just like, I'll tell you quickly, one time at the pool this summer, I get to the pool. It's a nice warm day. And, you have a certain corner of the pool you like to hang in when you're my age. Well, I get there, and it's been taken over. Right? All these people sit in the corner. Yeah, with their arms up on the sides, blowing bubbles, whatever it is they do. And I'm thinking to myself, how do I get out of this? So I walk over to the edge, and there's a little kid that probably been swimming too much. Little kid starts throwing up, right? So someone moves real quick to lift them up out of the water, and they put him, and I turned to the person next to me, and it was standing right above these people in the corner, and I go, "Oh, look, I think there's some vomit in the pool." And she goes, "Oh, you got to be kidding. They've got to," and then security lifeguards come swooping in with Lysol and squeegees and mops and everything else. So all I did was turn to one of the other parents so that all these people lounging around in my spot of the pool could hear me. And I go, "I think he might have whooping cough. I don't know. I just heard someone talking about it at the front." And it was like I set off firecrackers. Everyone up out of the pool. So I had to put up with a little bit of vomit, but I was okay. I got the whole pool to myself. There wasn't anyone. So anyone else would come back and they go, "What's going on?" I go, "Oh, the lifeguards are cleaning up. They think it's West Nile." And like 4 or 5 other people would climb out. By the time it was over, I had a good 20-yard berth, corner of the pool, myself, nobody coming in. I love it. That's homeschooling.
That's what I call glass half full.
I think so. Pool half vomit. That's all I'm saying. Glass half full, pool half vomit. I didn't mind. Right?
That kid violated etiquette, though. You're supposed to pee in the pool. You're not supposed to vomit in the pool.
Yeah, who knows? This pool's probably got that blue dye thing that goes off if you do. Let me tell you, whatever it does to go off when there's vomit, people, I don't want to say someone came in on a helicopter and rappelled down, but it was damn close. Right? So I said, "Hey, look, like you said, glass half empty. I'll take advantage of this." Oh, yeah. I think, and you know what I heard them say? It's highly contagious. You never seen some of these heavyweights move so fast in your life to get out of my end of the pool.
Wow.
It was great. Yeah. And then I hear some lady later complain about me. "Well, there's the guy that said it was Ebola." Right? So I was like, and the lifeguard looked at me and goes, "You?" And I go, "I don't know what you're talking about. I have no clue." So in any event, I think you're absolutely right. That's how. That's why Ashley thinks I should be homeschooled, because I'm just no good in public.
Well, but I mean, you're resourceful. Clearly.
Thank you. I simply try to weaponize my surroundings, as you know, right? Anything I can do, using anything that, excuse me, anything that nature throws at me. But enough about me. What do you got going on this week? We have a very special guest calling in this evening, one whose radio show is really popular here on ipmNation. He'll be calling here in a little bit. But before he does, what have you got going on? I loved listening to Matt's show, Politipod. I think it was last Wednesday at 9 a.m. That was
Matt
great.
Missinoff, yes.
Yeah, that was great. What else is going on this week on ipmNation?
Well, of course, we've got my show. I'm on weekdays, 4 to 6 on ipmNation 1.
Groovy.
And we got a lot of, not to look backward, but just very briefly, we did get a lot of positive reviews from the show that I did last Wednesday with Dr. Red Lawhern, talking about, the opioid crisis, or the so-called opioid crisis, as he called it.
Right.
We try to we tend to keep it light on the show, but sometimes we do get serious. And he was on with me for just about the full 2 hours, and that is up. And of course, we do archive all the shows on the site. But this week, I've got the only guest I have really firm is Wednesday. I have someone named Diane Ruggiero coming on, who's going to be debuting her new Christmas song on the show. I'm actually not much of a lover of holiday music. A little bit of that goes a long way,
right?
But she's very,
like
very
eggnog.
talented. So.
Like eggnog, right?
That's right.
Don't need a gallon of it, just a sip, as it were. Jägermeister, who can stand the taste of that stuff anyways? I got you. I'm with you. I hear what you're laying down.
So she's going to come on, and we're going to debut her new song. And we have some other guests possibly lined up. But, with Matt Connarton Unleashed, it's very, we kind of book on the fly as far as guests and whatnot, because so much of the show is about current events and politics. And, that changes minute to minute in the era that we live in. So,
well, I love your show. I love your show. I have to tell you, I try to get in early, give it a like every time it's on there. And whenever I'm feeling a bit heady, right? Whenever I feel like, I need to be knocked down a few pegs, I always like calling in, because I've been called a racist. I've been called an elitist. I have to think of some of the things that people calling in on your show have called me. So it's just great to knock me down a couple pegs. So whenever I'm thinking, I'm a bit full of myself, you know what? It's time to call. It's time to call Matt, and hope he'll open the phone lines, and we'll get to go from there. So I love your show.
Thank you. That really is our core mission on Matt Connarton Unleashed.
Thank you. So job well done, brother. Job well done. A+.
Glad you keyed in on that. Yeah. Make Ryan feel bad.
Glad you keyed in. Yeah, like I said, homeschooling, we're researching it right now. No one has homeschool written on them more than, I can't spell Brian without the I in idiot, I guess. All right, so what else we got going on this week? Why don't you give me a quick rundown of the top 10, if you would, Matt, of everything on IPM, because there's always something cool to listen to. That's what I love about you.
Let me let's see. So I'll pull up the top 10. I didn't think of that, but while I'm pulling that up too, this coming Thursday, we have a show that runs on ipmNation called the Dr. Kevin Show.
Ooh.
It's Thursdays at 6 p.m. on, I believe, on ipmNation 2. And I think Dr. Kevin's going to join us here next week on ipmNation Sneak Speak. But the first Thursday of every month, I join Dr. Kevin on his show from 6 to 7 p.m. on Thursday, 6 to 7 Eastern Time. And we discuss politics and world events and so forth. So
very nice. If I call in, will he rough me up a little too?
Oh, absolutely.
Great.
Oh, yes. I would love to connect you, gentlemen, actually. I think you'd get along very well. But,
well, thank you, brother. Thank you.
Yeah. So that's going to be Thursday of this week. But, so in our top 10, omnipresent in the number one spot, of course, All Natural Being with some guy named Brian Brawdy.
I know. Gemini. I'm of two minds on that. Okay.
Oh, right.
Yeah, there you go.
Got the morning show with Peter White, which actually broadcasts from the same studio that I do.
We talked about that with the elevator. A little bit of nepotism. I got you. Always good.
That's right. Yes. let's see. I'm in the top 10, which is nice. Of
Very
course,
nice.
Henry's program, Thinking Re-Envisioned.
Very nice.
We have Defenders of American Exceptionalism.
Nice.
They're in there. Politipod, of course.
Very nice.
Talked to Matt Nisanoff last week.
Yep. I liked Matt.
Robbins. Oh yeah, no, he's a great guy.
I'm usually a little
Slim,
anti-snowflake. You know what I mean? I'm usually a little anti-leftist and this and that.
Yeah.
But he's just a nice guy, smart guy too. I loved because listening to his show, I kept thinking, man, boy, there's a lot of pre-production that goes into this.
There is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, it's unbelievable. So.
A lot of work. Yeah. Robin Slim. They're usually in the top 10. They're on every week from 6 to 9:30 p.m. Every Wednesday on ipmNation 2. Not for the faint of heart. That show. Let's just say those guys like to work blue.
Good.
So just preparing everyone if you have delicate sensibilities.
Right.
But they are very funny. Dr. John's Neighborhood is in the top 10. You know Dr. John.
Yes, I do know Dr. John. While you finish reading off the list, let me go ahead and load our caller this evening. Matt, go ahead and finish
wonderful.
up, please. Yeah, go ahead and finish up.
So we also have Slicko's World, hosted by DJ Slicko, a good friend of mine.
Okay.
And then rounding out the top 10, the Ambrose Kirkland Show.
Ooh.
Ambrose is a male breast cancer survivor and
yes.
activist. And this is kind of a second season for him. He had done the show for a while. He took a break. He just came back recently.
Very cool.
He's already back in the top 10 doing great.
Very nice.
There you go.
Well, speaking of the top 10, Matt, I'm hoping that I just didn't pick up a random call. Any chance this is the incomparable Henry Noel from Thinking Re-Envisioned?
This is Officer Williams from the NSA.
Yeah. They tried kicking in the door last week. They know better. I'm doing great, Henry. Matt was just bragging about you. And hey, Matt, can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
Because, we have the top 10, of which Henry's in the top 10, Thinking Re-Envisioned. Great show. Skyrocketed to the top, 3 or 4, 2, 3, 4 positions, however it goes. And then we have our cities and we have our hot tracks and this and that. We have to work with getting Cuenca, Ecuador into our top 10 cities. Henry, what do you think?
Oh, man, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that would be well, if it earns it, then we'll have to make some changes if it doesn't. But, yeah, that would be great.
So would we call it IPM International, Matt? What would we have to call it if Cuenca comes into the top 10? That's shaking the tree.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
I am curious, though. I mean, in Ecuador, do they allow children to vomit in pools in Ecuador?
Henry knows this story.
Only when there are thinner people in the pool, not Brian.
Thinner. Thank you very much. See, I told you he knew the story. Yeah, I think it's fantastic. And let me just compliment the Cracker Jack lifeguard staff. They move quick to squeegee up that tablespoon of vomit. So they were they were on the ball. All right, so Henry, Matt was going over some of the cool shows coming up this week, some of the things he's doing on Matt Connarton Unleashed. What do you have coming up this week? I know a lot of times you throw it open to the thread, which your listeners love. They get to talk about whatever grabs them. You got anything planned or just going to go with the wind?
Well, no, I like to start off with at least some sort of a topic, and so, for example, like tonight, I'm going to start off with a quote from George Carlin, one of those serious guys that we all loved.
There you go.
Everything. And since this is Thinking Re-Envisioned, it's taking a look at the way things are and dealing, to quote one unknown fellow by the name of Albert Einstein, who said that you can't solve our problems with the same thinking that we used when we created them. So,
agreed.
Thinking Re-Envisioned, it seems to be a common thing to go through. But George Carlin had said, stop to think about who it is we kill. You always kill the people that, talked about living in harmony and living in love. So some of these unknown people like Jesus and Gandhi and Lincoln, John Kennedy and Martin Luther King, Medgar Evers and, Malcolm X and John Lennon. So here we are. We try to kill, try to live together peacefully, and bam, right in the head. So obviously we're not ready for that. So my whole question to everybody is, are we really ready to live peacefully? Can humanity actually live in a world where fear, hate, and discrimination just doesn't exist? So some of this light thinking, you know?
Right, sure. Well, it's re-envisioned. And that's what I love about your show is that you got to bring your A game. Well, I guess people could sit on the sidelines if they didn't bring their A game. They could sit on the sidelines and go, oh, I think, I'll just listen in, but not get in the thread. But you have a really spirited thread. Matt, I see you on there from time to time, Thinking Re-envisioned. So,
absolutely. Thank you, Matt.
Yeah. So, Matt, what do you think about having Thinking Re-envisioned now on ipmNation? And how does that start? Because like you said, we have some comedy, we have some political stuff, we have all these other things. Thinking Re-envisioned, as Henry and I have talked before, is a bit heady, right? It's a bit, you really got to think about what it is you're going to re-envision. What's that like, being able to round out the scorecard on ipmNation?
No, I think it's very cool. And, we do have such a variety here.
Sure.
And some of the shows that we have on ipmNation, of course, are shows that you just kind of listen to and enjoy, like comedy and music and whatnot. But some of them are shows, like Thinking Re-envisioned, like All Natural Being, probably even my show in some instances, where you can actually extract helpful information and ideas and suggestions that you can apply in your own life. So it's programming that it's not just for listening, but there's actual practical application involved. Programming you can, let me put it this way, programming you can not only listen to, but programming you can actually use if you choose to, or maybe you just listen. But I like to think that some of these shows can actually help people, which is pretty cool, and entertain at the same time.
Well, I think that's the best way to do it. Let me say hello in the thread. Well, obviously, I'll say hello to Henry. Hi, Henry. Jenny is here. Jenny, thank you for everything you do. Mansplaining. Well, all right. Yeah, probably guilty. Thank you for everything you do, Jenny. I super appreciate all of the different things. Nice to see you. And Matt and Henry, thank you for joining us as well. So as we get ready to ramp up this sneak speak, pretty soon, I know we're working on a video. I know we're working on some of the other things. Henry, what are some of the things that you think you'd like to see Matt do in terms of sneak speak, so that it can be, my vision is it becomes almost like a TV guide for the things that are going to come down in the week ahead. What do you think about that?
No, I think I totally think it's a great idea. I mean, Matt, you've done such a great job with ipmNation, and my hat's off to you. I just think it's fabulous, and I want to see this just be the go-to place for entertainment and for knowledge and information. So, I mean, as far as, sneak speak, I think it's a great concept. I think getting out there, getting advanced word as to what what's being produced and broadcasted on ipmNation, I think is great. The bios of the folks that run these shows, and they are so damn talented. I just love it. Oh, I don't know if I can say "damn" on the radio, but that's okay. We got
it.
Okay.
Yes, you can.
Oh, we can. Oh, damn! I didn't know that. Go.
But I really think expanding it out. I mean, really getting it out so everybody knows who they really are, who the folks are, who the hosts are. I think is really great.
Right.
And I just think keep pushing it. This is a great avenue to get those that are out there that are known, and then people like me that are about to do their 20th show. It's a great avenue for us novices to be able to get out there and try to get the content out there and just add to the quality of what ipmNation brings to internet radio.
Hey, guys, let me say hello to Candace real quick. Candace, thank you for joining us. What time's again? She says, I'm a bit confused. BB, is this your show? No, All Natural Being. I hope I hit the buttons right. Matt, you can tell me. Did I broadcast to the right page? All Natural Being is... okay, thank you. Is each evening at 8 o'clock. But what we're going to do, Candace, is 7 p.m. Eastern on Sunday evenings. We have a show with a good friend, Matt Connarton, called Sneak Speak. And it's kind of a sneak preview of what's coming up on ipmNation all week long. And then we interview hosts of the show. Tonight we have Henry G. Noel from Thinking Re-Envisioned, to talk about his show and the vision of what he's working on for this week. So, no, I think you're in the right place. I thought I was the one that confused, but apparently I hit the right buttons. So we're into Sneak Speak, and we're hanging out with Henry. So, Henry, how has it been when you open up the phone lines, right? Or when you open up the thread, I guess is a better way of putting it. When you open up the thread, how has it been to let people decide in that moment what it is you're going to talk about? Or do you like the format where you write all day long? Because I know sometimes you do that. You write all day long and then do a show. Mm-hmm. Which do you like the best?
Oh, I love the rapport. I love having the comments come through. To me, any and I'm totally a proof of this. Any idiot can sit down and read from the script.
Sure.
But it's thinking on your feet. That is what I enjoy. I really love fielding the questions. Mm-hmm. For one reason, because I never know what the question is going to be. But number two is that the information, the question coming out, is what somebody really is thinking about, what's really on their mind.
Sure.
And, I can get up there and do the preach routine if that's the case. But unless you're interested in what I'm preaching, then it doesn't do any good. So I much rather respond to questions that people really have a concern about. I find it's far more rewarding for them and tends to keep me on my toes. Let's put it that way.
Matt, what say you?
What you mean in terms of preparing for the shows?
Yeah, because last week we have Matt. Matt was on with us last week, and Politipod. That thing
Matt
is.
Nisanoff, yeah.
Can you pronounce his last name for me again?
I'm not even sure I'm saying it right, but I think it's Nisanoff.
Nisanoff. Well, you can tell listening to his show, it's hours and hours of pre-production, and then you hear Henry, and then Henry's saying, well, there's not a lot of pre-production because I like to talk about whatever the listeners want to talk about, so you really do have both ends of the spectrum.
Right. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And my show, in a way, is kind of more like Henry's, I guess, because mine, I take live calls, and we'll talk about whatever people want to talk about, but it's also... My show is very reactive, Matt Connarton Unleashed, because I'm kind of reacting to whatever's going on that day.
That's true.
In the news, which is fun.
Oh, and there's a lot going on.
I love that.
Yeah. Well, I've been trying to stay away from it just a little bit, not because when people say 7 at Sunday nights, right? I'm responding to Candace. Yes, Candace. 7 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday nights will be Sneak Speak, and then we go into 8 o'clock Eastern for All Natural Being, and then 8:30 Eastern for Thinking Re-Envisioned. And, of course, you can catch Matt Connarton Unleashed, and that's a 2-hour show. God love you, Matt. And that's Monday through Friday, right, brother? Is it 5 to 7?
4 to 6.
Eastern. 4 to 6 Eastern. I'm sorry. 4 to 6 Eastern time. So one of the reasons that I don't, like Matt, Rush Limbaugh is another one that jumps to mind that's been doing it a while, is that it's so easy to get my head hijacked by the events of the day that I just get so sidetracked, right? I'm like a cat chasing a little yarn ball full of catnip. I can't ever bring my mind back online. So I try to say, you know what I mean? Oh, look, shiny object. There he goes. So I try to stick a little closer to what I think we're going to talk about. And in this day and age, just following the news, there is just a mountain of information that you can use to pre-produce your show. So God love you for having that. Matt, how many years have you been doing this now at Matt Connarton Unleashed?
So I started it as a podcast in the summer of 2011.
Wow.
Yeah, so a long time. And then it's been about a year and a half now that I've been doing it on terrestrial radio as well.
Okay.
But,
very cool.
But yeah, I've been doing the show a while.
So you know what you're talking about when you have these different things, which is why I'm always calling you. And I don't even know if Henry knows this. A little bit of breaking news. Tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., give you an idea of Brian's Irish luck. I'm over at the Petri dish of a school, of a pre-K school that my kids attend the other day, and I hear some guy calling out to his daughter. And the guy has got a voice, right, that's just unbelievable. So I wait, in line, and I'm next. I'm right behind him, and I go, can I interrupt for just a second? And he goes, yeah, what do you got? And I go, did you ever think of doing any voiceover? And he goes, well, I get asked 3 or 4 times a week to do voiceover. And I'm thinking, my God, no wonder you do, right? You got a great voice. I go, yeah, that makes total sense to me. I go, I'd love you to do some voiceover. And I said, but what do you do where you're asked 3 or 4 times a week? I like that people come up to you in a grocery store and go, hey, I love the way you said, Irv, clean up in aisle 7. I mean, how is it that people just walk up to you? And he goes, oh, you ready for this, guys? He goes, I'm a full-time professional sound engineer. And I'm like, what? You know, because you always try to talk as deep as the person you're talking to. So my voice starts to crack. What? So,
right.
so, right? Guy's got 100 times better voice than I do. So he says, well, yeah, I do this and this and this and this and this and this. And I'm like, I'm just standing there with my mouth just draped open. So he's coming over to the transitional radio uplink here in beautiful Columbus, Ohio. He'll be coming over tomorrow at a certain time to walk me through and teach me all the stuff it's a laundry list of stuff I don't know, but he's going to be here to walk through sound checks and how to work the board and how to do this and how to do that from somebody that really knows audio. And that can, not like you, Matt, when I call and go, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? I'm calling Henry. Yeah. Henry goes, well, turn the knob here, turn the knob there. Here's going to be someone that stands right here and shows me how to use these things. I can't wait. I don't know if I'll be able to sleep tonight. I might have to take
That's very cool.
a third of a bottle of NyQuil. Right? I don't know. We'll see if it causes drowsiness, and if there's a warning about operating heavy machinery, then I might have to take a little more than the suggested dose. But I got that tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. I'm counting down the hours.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, that's awesome.
And Henry, you should know, before you came on, Matt agreed, he's with Ashley in the same camp, that I'm a clear candidate for homeschooling. So we talked about that a little bit. So tomorrow, I'm going to be homeschooled by a true professional audio engineer. And I hope I get to say who it is. I don't want to out him now in case he's like, yeah, I don't need anybody else coming up to me in line going, well, you did it for Brian. Right? So I'm not even going to say his name until he says, well, of course you can say my name. Then we'll repeat that. But that's what I've got going on. All right, guys, as we get ready in the final 3 minutes here, it's kind of hard to turn a neck. It's like I have a neck brace on with this scarf.
Ooh.
But yeah, okay. One way to keep the chills at bay. Go ahead, Matt.
I just, Brian, I noticed Candace is asking about my show. Candace, I'm on weekdays 4 to 6 p.m., and I'm on, you can hear the show on ipmNation 1. So if you go to ipmnation.com/live1, you can, that's one way you can get the show, or on the Matt Connarton Unleashed Facebook page as well.
As well. Very cool. Hey, who do you know at IPM Nation that you got on IPM Nation 1? Henry, he pigeonholed us on IPM Nation 3.
I hate hookups. I really do. But that's, what can you do?
I think he's tight with Jenny. I think Jenny does the programming, to be honest with you. And he goes, oh, come on, put me on 1.
Right,
come on. Yeah, well, I've started this new thing, Matt. I started this new thing, and I said, look, you can either thank, as I should tonight, you can thank our good friends at Telestream's Wirecast for bringing you each week Sneak Speak, or you can just hate them for it, right? Because we all have haters. So whether you like listening to the show or you despise the show, thank the our good friends at Telestream's Wirecast. All right, Henry, in our closing minutes, what do you got? What are your final thoughts, brother? Thank you so very much for joining us, by the way.
Oh, listen, it was my pleasure. First, I want to thank both you guys. I don't really get a chance to talk to Matt that often, so this is really great. Matt, thanks a million. I appreciate everything you've done. One, for Brian.
Sure.
I thank you so much for doing that. That's remarkable. For Brian, thank you for giving me the shot. Thank you for listening to me. I know I get a little bit heady, but I thank you for putting up with it, and I really do appreciate the jump start. And I'll do everything I can to not disappoint you guys.
Never a disappointment. And Matt, I should join Henry in thanking you and Jenny for everything that you've done. I don't know how many years it's been now. But, putting up with everything through me, wanting the name changes, the amnesia, the brain tumor, all the rest of it. It's no wonder you screen my calls. Well, thank you, brother, very much.
You guys are both worth it.
Thank you very much. All right, Matt, will you throw in here IPM Nation Sneak Speak, which is Oh, I'm sorry. It is already thrown in here. Got it, Matt. Thank you. So thank you very much, Jenny, if that's who you put it in. Now we know Matt Connarton Unleashed. 4 to 6 p.m. You're going to love it. Like I said, I absolutely dig the show. All right, guys, I got to get out of here. Thank you so very much. Henry calling in from south of the equator. Matt is about far north of the equator as you can get, not live in Bangor, Maine. Thank you for calling in. And,
Thank you.
And we will see you next week. Good night, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Good night. Thanks a million.
ipmNation.com.